everyone, welcome to my channel today. It's Melinda Sweetman with you, and I'm sharing my next page for Cut to You. This is the file that I'm creating with today. It's the Sketchy Circles Open, and I just cut that the last time I did a black cut on my Cameo, and I've had it sitting waiting for inspiration to strike, and strike it did. So first I'm just going to show you these photos that I'm scrapbooking today. There's 3, myself and my darling charming children. I fought it for a long time trying to get a nice photo of myself and them or each of them, and I've just embraced it now. They are boys, they are silly, they bring out the silly in me, and it's all good. I decided once I decided I was going to use those cut files that I would run with the circle theme. Pulled out a bunch of different things that have got circles on them, and I'm going to use most of them on the page. I'm using some white gesso and a wide dry paintbrush, and I'm just applying some gesso to fade out some of that background pattern in the background. It's all just words that are associated with boys, and it was perfect for this page, but I did want to fade out some of the pattern and also protect the paper, knowing I was going to add mixed media because it's what I do. So I'm just adding gesso to both the left and the right hand side pages. You can see I've gone about like 2/3 of the way across on the left and about 1/3 of the way across on the right. When you add that together you get one hole, but it's not quite one hole. Anyway, so I'm going to go in and do some stamping. I've got these 3 different archival ink colours. If anyone needs to know what colours they are, please ask and I will let you know. This stamp set is Carabel Studio. I can't remember the name of it. I'm being very good. I'm cleaning my stamps as I go, but the first colour I did was, it's like a lime colour. This stamp is also from the same stamp set. This one is a teal colour. Add a few more of those. You can see I'm just kind of building my layers one on top of the other. And then the last one that I do, I think, yeah, this is a darker blue. It's not navy, it's too bright to be navy, but it's kind of navy. Does that make sense? Anyway, so you can see I'm just adding some circles. A lot of this fades into the background anyway. Then the last stamp that I use here is one from Colour Blast, and it's my black VersaFine ink. I did want the black, and so you can see I'm just re-inking that one each time, and I'm going to apply that. I think I just go with 3 places, but it could be more. I lied, it's more. And then I'm just stamping off the excess. So I've showed you a couple of times where I'm planning on placing those photos straight down the left hand side there, and that is where they end up going. They crack me up every time I look at them. So there is more of a story that I want to tell to this page. I think I'm going to include it as a 6x12, just basically with journaling, basically my thoughts on being a boy mum. Now, before I say anything, I wouldn't change it for the world. I love being a boy mum. It's brought out a whole different side of me that I never knew existed. But I always imagined that I would have the pigeon pair, the boy and the girl, and that's just what I was going to have. Like I said, I wouldn't change it for the world. They've showed me a whole different side to life, to myself, and I love it. But you know, if you don't have little boys in your life, they I can't even explain it. They're just boys, and I expect girls have particular girl traits as well, and girls are silly just as much as boys. I don't really know what I'm trying to say. I love being a boy mum. It's so different to anything I ever thought it would be, and I do have more that I want to say about it. Is basically where I'm going with that. Sorry for my rambling. So I've used 2 colour bloom sprays by Prima. One is called Deep Teal and the other is called Cobalt. And you could see I just sprayed that on, added some water, tipped my page, dried it off, Now I'm coming in with a Heidi Swap Colour Shine. I believe this colour is Patina. So adding a bit of water, adding a bit of colour, and just moving my page around until I'm happy with how it looks. At this point I realised that I'd put gesso on the other side and not done anything with it. So I'm going to go in and add some colour to that side. And I'm pretty sure on that side I just use the 2 colour bloom sprays. You can see how I'm going to lay those cut files out. What am I doing? Oh, I'm drying the back. So when you look at this closely, you can see where the gesso stops. It's not so obvious here on film, and it's not like if you didn't know, you don't know, and it's not a big deal. But because of the heat, because of how much water I added, the page did become quite warped, and I've just pulled a piece of green cardstock that I'm never ever going to use and trimmed off 2 sides so that it's not exactly 12 by 12 and I don't have to line it up exactly, but it's enough to flatten it for me to work on. Adding some splatters using these Colour Bloom sprays, and I'm also going to use the Heidi Swap Colour Shine. Like I said, I think it's Patina that I used. If you haven't used the Colour Bloom sprays to sprinkle, maybe I'm just special, but I found it a bit awkward with the way the handles are. This is my title. I tried these alphas straight onto my background and felt that they got a bit lost. So I grabbed one of my favourite text stamps from Vicky Bouton, and I'm just stamping straight over the top of my letters. And it just gives them a little bit of extra detail. It doesn't blend them in, but it makes them look like they belong on this page. That's the word. And then I'm going to ink around all of the edges of the letters as well. Because of the way that I've got them layered on each other, they kind of blend into each other a bit as well. And this just gives a bit of separation for each letter. I don't think I make you watch all of this. No. I also add foam behind all of those letters. I will say now, it is the school holidays. My kids are out the back playing. You may hear them. I've added some tissue paper behind my photos and a couple of layers from the Cocoa Vanilla Studio Boys Rule collection, mostly scraps, I think. And I've just stuck that whole cluster down. You can see I've got my Boy Mum title stuck down, and I'm just adding life as well. I love these alphabet stickers. They are from Pinkfresh Studio. They are, I think, from the Case of the Blars, which is an awesome collection. Yeah, a Case of the Blars puffy alphabet stickers. I love them. Love the shape. I love the font. I love the texture. I love the puffy. I just love them. So I've finished off my title there, Boy Mum Life. I will go back in and stick that down if I haven't already with some wet glue. And then I pulled out, like I said, the Boys Rule collection. This is how we roll. I was like, oh my goodness, when am I ever going to use this sticker? So I stuck it on some white cardstock, I trimmed around it, and it's going to go right there, right where I just had it. I was just like, oh my gosh, this is absolutely perfect. This sums up my life with my children. These kinds of photos. This is how we roll. So on that goes, I've just added some Stampin' Dimensionals behind that as well so that it's the same height. I'm just playing with a few different bits and pieces, and I don't think that I add much more. I think I add a couple of the tabs from the Boys Rule collection on the left hand side. Pretty sure I'm going to stamp the date. Yep. And then stick that in there. I may or may not add another one. I cannot remember. I did make this a little while ago. I think I add that blue one, but perhaps I don't. I tried the idea of some more of those black circles. I do add my journaling on the right hand side. And I can't remember exactly what it says, but you know, this is what my life looks like. I wouldn't change it for a single thing. Plus, they think it's funny when I burp. So, yes. Like I said, I do think that I'm going to do a whole 6x12 devoted to journaling. It's just a different journey than what I've expected, and I think that that's just the way parenting is. It's just different to anything you ever expect. I've pulled out the boys' rule chipboard pieces as well, and I'm going to use some of the stars. It's kind of hard for me to do that. I love them, and you know when you love them and you don't want to run out, it's kind of where I'm at. I'm like, I don't want to run out, but better on a page than sitting in my stash. Yeah, use them. So I talked myself into using them, and I use, I think, 3, maybe 4. I think it's safe to say this is definitely one of my all-time favorite collections. Yes, I use 4, which I know is an odd number, but I think that it balanced the page better than the 3 did. Go figure. I think I just go in and add my journaling to those circles on the right-hand side. I found these awesome gel pens from Woolworths. They're great. If anyone's interested, leave me a comment and I'll work out what they're called because I'm not sure. But they're great. They write straight over my mixed media. I did have a chuckle to myself as I wrote, plus it's funny when I burp. Remembered to cover my photo, and I'm going in with some more splatters. I'm using, this is the Cobalt, and I'm quite happy that it goes onto the alphas. It makes them blend in a bit more, not blend in, but look like they belong. Look like they belong, not blend in. I've got some, I think that is Color Artist Ink by Color Blast, and a little paintbrush, just adding some black splatters, the black from the cut file, the black in the title. I thought it was perfect to add it. A close-up, and then into my stills. As always, thank you ever so much for stopping by. This page is really busy, lots of writing, and most of it isn't mine for a change. So if you have any questions, please make sure you leave them below. And yeah, thank you ever so much for stopping by. Thank you for all of your kind comments. And I will be back again very soon with another share. Bye.